oversimplified version is we are a settlement provider for the $2 trillion transportation industry. We utilize a blockchain tech stack to solve the largest problem in the North American supply chain, which is cost of capital. These companies can't wait that long to get paid. All of their costs are front-loaded. It costs $1,500 to fill up a truck with diesel, right? So what they have to do is they have to sell their accounts receivable to intermediaries, third parties, banks, and their cost of capital is outrageous. And if you really kind of zoom out on this, that cost of capital ultimately gets pushed down to consumers and households as well. Every time we go to the grocery store, we're helping absorb these enormous costs of capital that are in the supply chain. But TCS has created a solution on-chain that allows these companies to get paid in 1 to 2 business days, typically 90% cheaper than what a factoring company or a bank would charge them to settle that.
No need for the financial middleman.
Right. We're disintermediating the intermediaries.
So when people ask about crypto use cases, this is one of the clearest
I was just about to say, I was just on a panel with Bill Cohen, who said basically, I get the Bitcoin and I get the crypto for speculation, the use cases. Come back to me when there's actually one.
Yeah,
but here you go.
It's funny, I'm in Washington a lot, and that is the common refrain from regulators and lawmakers. It's like, where are the real world use cases? Where are the Main Street use cases? Where are the legacy industry use cases? And I mean, I'm not the most objective person in the world as the CEO of the company. I think stable coins are probably the single best use case for digital assets and blockchain, but I think solving this cost of capital factoring problem, which is not unique to the transportation industry.
No, I was gonna, yeah.
It's an issue in almost every industry.
I
think shipping industry.
Yeah, I think it's a tremendous use case for blockchain and digital assets.
How did you get started with TCS?
So I'm an attorney by education, but I've spent the last 10 years working in the transportation industry. I owned a freight brokerage.
Okay.
I dealt with all of the counterparties that are involved on the backside of all of these transactions.
You lived this problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was way late to Bitcoin. I didn't buy any Bitcoin until 2017, and then I went back to the white paper during COVID, and I was like, wait a minute, this whole thesis is about disintermediating third parties, creating faster, cheaper settlement, business to business, peer to peer. Can't we use blockchain rails to solve this cost of capital problem in transportation? Went out to the University of Wyoming Advanced Blockchain Lab, minted a token. We settled the world's first freight invoice on chain at the end of 2022. And fast forward, here we are today.
One of my guests was Chris Rossfuss, who was the Senate Minority Leader in Wyoming's Senate.
Yes,
and
I know. I've met Chris.
I'll bet, yeah, because he's fantastic.
Chris.
It's no wonder that Wyoming is ahead when you have people like that there.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the stablecoin develop this year.
Is that sort of the biggest thing you're watching out of DC is the stablecoin bill, market structure? I mean, I'm sure market structure is maybe a little bit more relevant to what you do.
It is, but I mean, it's all important, right? And it's just, take the politics out of it. I'm a Ron Paul libertarian, but it's just good to see the industry being embraced from Capitol Hill, right? Because we don't want all of this innovation and opportunity offshore.
Were you worried for a few years that crypto blockchain was going to go away?
I had a bunch of people telling me, like, you need to move the company to the Cayman Islands, right? And I just said, we're an American company. We're solving a North American problem. We also had the issue that it's like, even if we moved offshore, we're still working with companies that have to be fully regulated and licensed by the Department of Transportation and FMCSA. So I was like, we're here, for better or worse. But it's nice that we've turned the corner.
And you didn't have a problem with your bank accounts?
We actually got debanked.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, here we are trying to remove this silent VAT tax from the supply chain to help small businesses, help trucking companies, help reduce the cost of goods. We were actually invited to the White House in March because the White House has this mandate right now to, reduce the price of eggs, reduce the price of goods. They brought us in. We talked to the National Economic Council, right? But here we are trying to solve this systemic problem in an industry that impacts everybody. 70% of all goods in the U.S. and Canada are on a truck at some point. It's a very large continent. But we got debanked during Operation Choke.
How did you survive? What were the practical implications of that for your company, and how did you get past that?
was very difficult, and I'd like to give you like a really interesting, answer on how we were able to navigate and survive this. But we actually we found a credit union in Wyoming that said we understand that you're not engaged in illicit finance and you're not a bad actor, and we're more than happy to bank you.
Well, we know it wasn't Custodia Bank that was able to.
It was not Custodia, but I'm a big fan of Caitlin and everything that she's been working on.
And what was the bank that debanked you?
I probably shouldn't say, but I'll tell you, it's a top 10 senior bank in the U.S.
Okay, interesting.
And it doesn't matter, does it? Almost, I don't know any of them that didn't, right?
Well, yeah. I asked because we were interviewing the Avalab CEO on stage in London 2 weeks ago, and he got debanked, and we said on stage, which bank? And he said, I don't know if I should name names. And he's like, actually, it was KeyBank. We're like, okay, we're going to expose them all here.
Right.
So there.
From the enterprise side of things and, kind of onboarding companies, industries into blockchain, what would you say have been sort of the biggest challenges? Is it the regulatory environment? Is it sort of the unknown about blockchain crypto? We talked on stage before with like I just said, Bill, who is a big skeptic, and he said, the jargon is actually kind of something that makes most of the normies turned off from the industry. Is that?
Well, I'm really excited to share one of our customers is here today. It's a trucking company out of Chicago, small business, 20 trucks, female owner, awesome story. So we'll be talking more about that at 2:00.
Nice.
And I just spoke at the Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville, Kentucky, which sounds kind of funny, but it's the single largest trucking show in the world. They typically get like 100,000 people that show up at this show over 3 days, right?
Wow.
And the way that I explain this is that we have made this as simple as we possibly can. In order to settle with TCS, you have to set up a wallet and an account at the INX exchange. INX is one of our sponsors today. Mm-hmm. It's the equivalent of setting up a second business checking account. Once your account is set up, you can sell us invoices just like you would sell them to a factoring company. We make a buying decision. We directly deposit the USD value of that invoice in TCS token, less a very small fee that we charge. Into your wallet in 2 clicks at INX, you're back into fiat.
Wow.
You can keep your US dollars on the exchange. For $5, you can ACH those dollars back to a business checking account, but you're literally getting funded in 1 to 2 business days. And it's crypto's just the back end, right? It's like people ask me all the time, are trucking companies and logistics companies really going to adopt crypto and a blockchain tech stack? And my answer is, if I sent you an email right now, can you explain to me how that happened? Right? You and I have no idea how the back end of that communication just happened, but we know that it works, so we utilize it. Same thing here.
Yeah, try it. You'll see the money's in your account, and then
that's the other thing. Most of these factoring companies, they sign these carriers into these horrendous long-term agreements that they can't get out of. We have a non-exclusive agreement. Our thesis is we're going to collateralize the AR that you just sold to us, right? Because we bought it. But if you don't like it, if you don't like faster and cheaper settlement, if you don't like getting paid same day with 2 clicks on an exchange, you can go right back to what you were doing. Right? You can go sell your invoices back to your terrible factoring company or waiting 30 to 180 days to get paid directly by a shipper.
Well, I hope your new bank accounts aren't with any of the banks that get to be banked again.
No, actually they aren't.
Where's all our factoring business going?
We have a completely different bank stack at this point. So, yeah.
So would you say the onus is on the creators, I guess the blockchain developers, to these companies fronting them, to make it a seamless experience for people to come on board, as opposed to people like coming to you guys, like you got to make it easier for them?
I think ease of use is a huge piece of the puzzle, but I think the reason why we hear where's the beef all the time, in terms of use cases, is because you do have to have a real problem and a real solution, right?
Yep.
There is a tremendous amount of pain in the transportation industry because the holy grail for a lot of these companies is not, I should just say 97% of the trucking companies in the U.S. are 1 to 5 trucks. These are all small businesses. Their dream is to scale to 10, scale to 50, scale to 100. Mm-hmm. How in the world can you do that when your real cost of capital is 36 to 50% interest annualized? Like, you can't. And if you get into a down market, I mean, the oxygen just gets sucked out of the room. So we think that ultimately this is good for supply chains, it's good for food security, it's good for the consumer, it's good for households, but it's really good for the small business community and the trucking industry writ large.
Is there a tipping point you expect at some point when people understand that your solution is so much better?
We are just starting. So our token was listed on the INX exchange at the end of March. We were doing a lot of this in DeFi. We were doing OTC transactions in Uniswap, and it worked pretty well, but that's not something that scales.
Right.
Right? It's very easy to tell a trucking company, go set up this account, and you can click 2 buttons and you're back into fiat. Managing OTC transactions in DeFi on Uniswap is an entirely different universe, right? So, we're just now kind of hitting our stride. But I believe we'll have over 100 million in flows moving through the ecosystem by the end of the year. Our largest competitor in the freight factoring industry, and I share this as a former client of theirs, their service is slow, it's expensive, it's antiquated, their customers hate them, okay? They have a $60 billion AUM.
Okay.
Right, so that's what we're looking to disintermediate.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you been active in conversations with lawmakers in Washington, D.C.?
I have. I am a member of the Global Blockchain Business Council. I'll be in D.C. again in 2 weeks for the D.C. event. They're actually doing a supply chain roundtable.
Oh, great.
Which I was very appreciative to get invited to. But yeah, I tell people, and I will share this too. I worked on the Hill for a little while.
Oh.
It was a while ago.
With
right?
Ron Paul?
Not with Ron. I actually was with the House Judiciary Committee. So I know the Hill a little bit. I've spent way more time on the Hill in the last 2 years than I would like.
So you know your way around.
But I do know my way around. That
helps.
Around. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Todd.
Yeah,
Really
best
interesting.
of luck.
Yeah. Appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
This show is being brought to you by our sponsor, Trueflation. Professional investors and economists and probably any casual observers know that government inflation statistics are only an approximation of what real inflation is. Not only that, but the government has a conflict of interest because high inflation can be so damaging to the economy, the deficit, and our $36 trillion in debt. Trueflation collects over 80 million pricing data points. Most are updated daily to reveal inflation with precision for asset managers, governments, companies, and the general public. Check them out at trueflation.com. We're proud to be sponsored by Foundation. They've created Passport, one of the top-rated Bitcoin hardware wallets, proudly made in the USA. It's fully open source and air-gapped, meaning your Bitcoin stays completely offline and secure. The shocking Bybit exchange hack shows why holding some Bitcoin offline diversifies risk. Now they're launching Passport Prime, your all-in-one solution for not only Bitcoin, but all passwords and 2FA security. Head to foundation.xyz to secure your digital future. Hey, if you like this clip, please hit the subscribe button. You might also want to check out some of the clips I've posted with my many other guests. My interviews all address the simple question, how screwed are we? We ask experts about the problems that make Americans so pessimistic today, but we also explore why there's never been a better time to have been born than today. Join us for perspective on today's challenges and opportunities.